Once again, it's the Gorgeous Woman Show from Nairobi, Kenya. We are always excited to bring to you a story of a woman that has been through some pain. And some of them are managing, but others have overcome, but they are bold enough to come and share their story with us. And such a guest is here with me, Dorcas Wangari. So Dorcas, so you were taken to school.
Yes.
Up to what level?
So first I went to school in primary. That was in the village.
Yeah.
Up to class 8 and I finished.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a good one because most of the time I was not in school because of school fees and some books at some point. And you know, at the end of the day when I go back home, the lady will tell me she doesn't have money to take me to school.
So was it, it was a poor background?
It was a very poor background.
Oh.
But I can say there was money, but because I'm not part of the family, because even the people that I call my uncle, they don't live in a bad way. They are they are people who have good families. Yeah. They are living well. I can say that. So
do you feel like you were treated differently because you don't belong there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And according to your assessment, why did she bring you in and your brother? What was it? Is it that she doesn't have kids, or why were you brought in?
Well, I can say there are people that I know they are her children. Yeah. Because there was some guys and a lady I could see them coming, and they used to live in Mombasa. Because I could hear stories that sometimes back she was staying in Mombasa. Though I never get to inquire about it because I was not even interested with the story. But there were people who were there, and even another.
When you say people, are they her children or what?
Yeah, they are her children.
Would they call her mom?
I never heard them calling her mom, but they were very close because they could bring her anything. They could bring her clothes, some foodstuffs, give her some money. But anytime they are there, she would never wish me to be around. So they always used to push me away from that place. Whenever I'm around, they'll tell me not to be at home, or they'll just send me somewhere. And then when I come back, I'll see people leaving from the house. And then if I ask, I'll just receive a beating.
Okay, was she married?
I never used to see any husband.
Also, she was a single mom?
She was a single mother.
So paint a picture of that homestead. How was it? Is it only you and your brother, or were there other people? Were there neighbors?
Yeah, there were neighbors. Yeah, there were people. There were even family members. Yeah. She used even to have brothers. They are very many. I think in their family there are 15, but several people, I think some died, but there are still others are still there. So it's a big family. And one thing I could say, when even I was going to school, I remember one day when I was told to come back home, I didn't have school fees. There was one guy came to, I was just seated outside because whenever I'm sent from school, I'm at home, I would just go sit outside because she used to lock the houses. I could not access the house once I'm back. So I have to stay outside until she comes back from wherever she is. And then one day I was just seated and one man asked me, "Why are you here?" He was just well dressed and looking okay. And I told him I was sent home because of school fees and some books. And he told me, "Just carry your bag, let's go back." The man told me to just go back to class. He's going to the office. And that was it. And until today, I've never, in my mind, I always see that picture of what happened. Because I remember I was in class 7. And I looked for that person and never saw him. And when I came back, because she knew that I was sent from school, she asked me, where did I got money to go back to school? And I told her that someone paid for me. And I received a beating. And then I was like, it's okay, even if you beat me up, the money was paid and I'm back to school. After I finished primary school, I went to high school. That was Form 1 and Form 2. And the person who was paying my school fees was just a stranger who came from...
Which secondary school?
It was called Matora Secondary School, still in the village.
It's a day school?
It's a day school.
Okay.
I went there for Form 1 and Form 2. The person who was paying my school fees, remember, she's a stranger. And
what do you mean a stranger? How did you get her?
I met her when I was almost committing suicide in a pit latrine. I had gone inside a pit latrine because they had refused to pay for my school fees.
Where was that?
Still in the village, in the same home. So I begged.
How did the person, just don't rush.
Yeah.
Take your time, you have all the time.
Okay.
So, when you finished class 8, they said they will not pay your school fees.
Yes, they said that there were no money for
school fees.
Yeah.
So when you say they, is it this mama alone?
Yeah, I tried to talk to several people, the uncles.
No, like you only used to live with her.
Yeah.
So you could not communicate with her, so you had to look for help outside.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so this time you decide I'm going to commit suicide.
Yes.
So tell us how you did it.
So I went to the washroom. In the village, there's not a washroom, it's a pit latrine. Yeah. I went inside, and then I decided, because they don't want to take care of me, and no one loves me, because everyone is rejecting me, Amori is getting beaten, so the best thing is just to kill myself. I went inside. I was just holding the pit. You know how disgusting it is? Yeah. I was just holding it down like this. Then I slide in up to my waist. So unfortunately, I couldn't go down and I couldn't come up. Yeah. So I was just in the middle, because now it's the hole is a bit small. Yeah. It's a bit small, so I couldn't fit down. And I think I stayed there for almost 30 minutes. So I'm trying to push myself. Remember,
you were that determined?
Yes. I just wanted to go inside. And it is very, if today someone tell me to do something like that, I can't even try.
No, depression is real.
I'm telling you. Yeah. Because I was depressed, I was devastated. The only thing I was seeing myself was just to die. So I went inside, and then it happened, one guy was just around and he decided to come to the loo, and he found me and he was like, what are you doing? And then I tried to push myself, but now I can't even move. And then now, in a way, my legs had started to be swollen, because I'm also straining myself. I've really strained down there. And then they tried to help me, but I was resisting. I was fighting back. I was telling them, if you're not going to pay school fees for me, I'll kill myself. So just leave me alone. So, and I remember one of the guy hitting me and telling me, whatever I'm doing is just stupidness. I should just come out of that place. So unfortunately, they couldn't just bring me out easily. They had to undo one of the, I can't remember what they are called. Kwa hiyo mbao za choo ikatwanishwa for them to be able to remove me out. And after they took me out, I passed out, and I was taken to the hospital. Then when I woken up, I was taken back home. And then they tried to talk to me. They told them, the only thing I want is just to go to school, because I was a bright child. Yeah. But now, there are no fees. You're just trying all over. So when I came out, one lady heard the story. Yeah. How did the foster mother behave? She just, I can't remember, because I remember I passed out. No, when you came back when I came back, when she looked at me, she just slapped me. Yes. I know. And I just looked at her. Have you ever been beaten to an extent that whenever even you don't have tears, because you're just used to it? It's just normal to you. It's like the way you can just wake up, take tea, and take food. So whether you beat me up, it's okay. I'll just continue. So she didn't even try to hear you out? No, not at all. I didn't have someone, like the way we are seated right now, I can talk to you. I didn't have anyone I could tell what was happening. I don't know whether I'm allowed to say this, but even on whenever you get your monthly period, we as women, she didn't even care. Because I remember, even today, up to today, or even the time I started as a young girl, she never even a single day bought those sanitary towels for me. I used to go and cut some mattresses and use them. You know how it is. Wow. And then the blood would just flow down, because it's just so disgusting. And she'll beat you again? She'll just tell me to get out of that place. I'll just go to the shamba and hide myself there. I'll cry. Then I'll just come back. And one day, I don't know, I remember one day, because I used to love to go to church so much. No, let's go back. So now, after your demand was to go to school. Yes. So why you taken to school? So after the story, after what happened, one lady from the neighborhood heard about the story, and she told me to go to her house, and I went, and she told me that she's going to take me to school, and that was like a dream come true. Yeah. And she bought me some uniform and some clothes, and I went to school. After going to school, I finished the first term and up to the third term, and then Form 2. Joining now Form 2, the chaos started again. So the family started saying, why is she paying for my school fees? Who is she in that family? So everyone was just like, why are you doing that? They were fighting her, and she couldn't bear that anymore. So she had to pull back, and that was the end of my schooling.
I'm looking at all this scenario. You're going to school. Was there, you couldn't talk to anybody because, of course, the life in the village, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So did you ever try to reach out to anybody to talk to them about the abuse you're going through?
Yes, I did. And every time I could tell them.
Like who did you
one of my neighbors.
Okay.
The person now, I will go there maybe later. She brought me to Nairobi. So whenever she used to live in Nairobi by then, so whenever she came to the village, I could go to their house and talk to her. And she used to tell me that one day I'll just get you out of this place. But at the moment, I can't. Because now she used to know about my background. But she never, she was not even close to the family that much. So, and then she was scared of what the people will say or what can happen if she dares take me out of that place.
What of your teachers?
They didn't used to love me because they know about my... Do you know, even in school, many times I could just be on my own. Even after I finished school, I can tell you maybe I only have contacts with only maybe 3 people. Because they knew my background. I don't know how. They knew everything that was happening. So most of the time, they never wanted to associate with me. So in school, I'll just be by myself. You get me? So at some point, I could even not do so well in class because I'm always so stressed. I'm always crying. And, you know, at some point, you just want to go with and play with kids. So at some point, I'll join them and they'll just leave from that place. They'll be left alone.
Okay, so now tell us about church.
So one day, we used to, but then I used to go to ACK with the family members. And then they were just having a function and I really wanted to go. But I was not even participating in any area. I was just like any other child would go to church.
So they took you to church?
Yeah, I used, not
Sunday school?
I used to go to church because no one took me actually.
You took yourself?
I just took myself because whenever they are going, I'll follow them. But I'll just wait for them to get there. Before they lock the door, I would steal their clothes outside. And then I'll just go to the loo and maybe wear my clothes there. Because she can't leave the house open. She always closed the house.
And she will not tell you to tag along, you go?
No. If I want, it's okay. If I don't want, I can just remain in the house. But which house? I'm just going to stay outside.
So you felt unwanted?
Rejected, unwanted. Do you know, even at some point when I grew up, it was so strange to even associate with people because I was always scared of maybe people would just run away from me. And he didn't understand what was happening. So, but I had stolen my clothes from the house. And unfortunately, she told me that I'm not even going to church. The only thing I'm doing is because I'm a prostitute.
Ooh.
I just want to go and sleep with men. That's why I'm stealing clothes. I'm still young.
And they're your clothes?
They are my clothes, imagine.
And you're stealing them?
Yes.
But you're trying to just
I'm trying to steal.
Away.
Yeah, for away. I just go to that function. You know why I'm going there? Because there's food.
Okay.
Yes. Because many times, I don't eat in that house. If I do something, there's no food. They will not count me. So I'll have to stay outside. So
when you're saying is it only that woman and your
her and that guy and another lady normally used to come to that house most of the times.
Okay.
So, and I didn't know who she was because she never used to talk to me. Anytime I'll appear, she just used to scold me. So unfortunately, when I was just running on the other side where some cows were, she was holding a shoe. Even today, I think I have that belt. And she hit me with that shoe. Now, I didn't even realize I was just bleeding all over. I didn't even feel the pain. Do you know that? And it was a small heel. And unfortunately, the needle was left there. And I didn't even realize. So, even if that happened, because I didn't even shower, just wore my clothes. I still have them. I wore my clothes. After she hit me, I ran away from the shamba. And I took those clothes, I wore them in the shamba, and I just went to church with my slippers because I couldn't get the shoes because she has already locked the house. And then when I'm just seated at the back, someone saw I'm just bleeding all over. And then she was like, what is happening? And then they took me and assisted me after seeing what was happening. And when I was leaving, I was told, if you go, don't come back to this house. No, still come back. So when we finished the function, I was so scared.
Were you taken to hospital?
No, they just folded me with something. It wasn't that serious, but after some time, when it started reacting. At that point, it wasn't that serious. They just bandaged the place.
Okay. Wow. Our viewer, that's the story of Dorcas. See you after the break. Wow. So we were at the place where somebody saw you bleeding in church.
Yeah.
And
I
then
had already come out of church now.
You had already come out of church. So no, they didn't see it in church.
They did. Yeah. That's when someone took me out and they bandaged the place that was bleeding.
They didn't ask you about the story? What happened?
Did, but I just told them I'd fallen down.
You fallen
I could
down.
never tell what has happened because I was scared.
You
Maybe they might tell. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were helped, the foster mother told you that not to come back.
Yes.
What mistake did you do going to church?
Yes, because she told me that I was a prostitute and I was going to sleep with men, so I should not come back to her house.
By this time, how old were you?
I think I was only 11.
You were in high school?
Yes.
Okay.
Are they going to that? No, not yet. Not yet. I was still, by then I was in class 8.
Okay, so do you have a birthday, like you know?
Yeah, I was told my birthday is supposed to be on the 13th November.
The 13th November?
Yes, that's
so you're actually coming to almost your birthday now.
By the way, it's on Sunday actually.
Yeah, it's on Sunday.
Yeah.
So tell me more. So you've tried suicide like 2 more times.
Yes.
Tell me what prompted you to do that.
So now, the reason the second suicide I did was now after I came to Nairobi. The same lady I told you about that she had told me she would take me from that place. She came and I talked to her and I begged her. Now that is after there was no more money for me to go to high school.
Yeah.
And do you know that this kid, the other brother that I have, he was taken to a private school. It depends a lot at some point. Why was there money for him to be taken to a private high school up to Form 4? What about me? Is it because I'm a girl, or is it because...
So all along when you grew up, you felt like he was treated differently?
Yes, and he was, by the way, many times. Because he was never receiving scolding, he was never even being beaten up like me. And he was not even doing much like me. Because many a times I'll have to go and get many a times I'll be told to go and fetch some firewood, but he was not asked to do such things most of the times.
So how is your relationship with him now?
We're not close. We don't talk.
Because of that?
Yeah, we don't talk.
So he also felt the same way about you?
Yeah, he wasn't even that close to me. So, and I never bothered about it. But do you know that there is a lady and she's her mother, I know that. She used to come to our home and she could bring snacks for him. And I could feel like, why are you in this place, yet you have a family? But I didn't have anyone to answer those questions. And many more times she could be brought some snacks. And when the lady comes, the foster mother come and find out that we had been brought some snacks, she would just throw them away to the...
Even from your brother?
Yeah. No, if I'm having those snacks.
So she would throw out yours?
She would just throw mine to the pit latrine.
Okay, so
and I'll go and get them there. I know. There was this day, I was so hungry, and there was some cakes that they were brought, and I had to steal from the brother. And he started crying, and I told him, I'm going to eat, and you can't do anything to me. Unfortunately, the foster mother just came in time, and she just took them from in a small paper, and she just took them and threw to the pit latrine. I went and fixed some branches, and I pulled them out. And I ate. I didn't die.
Because you were hungry?
Because I was hungry. And it was, how could you do something like that?
And of course not for a kid.
Yes.
The cakes were,
exactly, especially in the village.
Yeah, but even still now, a cake or maybe a sweet or chocolate for a child is something major.
And you can imagine how
now it becomes worse when you're hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the only thing you have to eat.
Yeah. And because that previous night I had slept outside where the chickens used to sleep, because I had done something and I couldn't get to the house because I was scared I'm going to receive some beating. And it was raining.
And of course, if it's Nyandarua, can be very cold.
And it is cold. I slept there up to morning.
And she wouldn't care to come and look after you? She
didn't come out because she told me, unless they beat me up, I'll not get to that house. And I could not even accept that. That day I was not ready for any beating. So I just slept outside. The whole night it was rain. So when it got in the morning, all over my body was white because there was no place I could hide. No, at least even many times I could sleep outside. It was not a big deal for me. And if it's not raining, it's just okay. There was like a cube I had made. So anytime they told me not to go to the house, I have my place. So
you had your own camping site?
Yes.
That was so cruel though.
You can imagine. It was so cruel. I know. And after some times, it's when now the lady came and I talked to her, and she decided to, and she told me, I'll bring you to Nairobi, so start packing your clothes. Did I even had a bag? From where? So I packed my clothes from a certain paper bag. By then we were not having shopping bags, and I packed them and I followed her. But it was a long story for her even to people to accept for me to leave. But I was telling them, even if you don't allow me to leave, I will still go. So we had that fight, and one thing she told me that once we come to Nairobi, I'm taking you to school. And I was excited about going back to school. But I didn't know I was coming to be a house manager at once. And we came, and she told me that I'm going to stay for 1 month as she looks for some money.
So where did you go in Nairobi?
Kariobangi South.
Okay.
And once we came, I stayed for 1 month, but I was just assisting with the house chores and all that, and taking the little one to the school because she was having one baby, and she was pregnant for another baby, and I was assisting her. So 1 month down the line, now 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line, I sat her down next to her. When we came out of the village, you told me that you're taking me to school. What changed? And she told me that she doesn't have money.
Was she paying you to do the house chores?
No. The plan was she's taking me to school, so I'm not going to be paid any amount. So the food was there, but if I ask for some money, we'll start quarreling.
Was she treating you okay?
For 1 month.
Better?
1 month. It was at least better because I had a roof. It was better because I was getting some food. But the scolding was there. 1 month we were okay. Even the second month we were okay. But the third month, it's when she changed to another person. I didn't even know. This was someone I was seeing like, to me she was like a mom or someone, an old, bigger sister. But she just showed her true colors. And I stayed with her for 1 year. I was very patient, by the way. Actually, almost 1 year. I can say maybe 1 to 8 months until I couldn't take it. Because...
Was she beating you?
She was just mistreating me, not beating me. And then she could just talk words that are... You know, at some point she would just tell me, you're just here and I could just take you to where you're coming from. Background yako hata inabo tu. As in, what can you tell me? And she would always use this word. Do you know I'm the one who brought you here, so I can do the way I want to you. So you have to follow the rules and regulation in this house.
And she knew you have no fallback.
Exactly.
So and your foster mom didn't look for you?
No, not at all. Even today, they don't even bother about myself.
So have you ever gone back there?
At some point, I go when there is something. It took so long for me to even accept all these. It took so long for even me to forgive them.
I know.
It was, I couldn't even bother about that. So after staying with her for some times, I had to look for something to do. I think the first job I ever did in Nairobi. And remember, in this Nairobi, if you don't have papers, at some point even to get something good, it is so hard. I got a job in a certain restaurant in Westlands. And we were going very early in the morning and coming back.
Still living in her house?
In her house, still.
And she allowed you to?
And she did, yes.
Wow.
For 1 month, it was okay. And then we started coming late because the place was getting busy. Then one day, I came back at, I think it was maybe at 7 or 8. And she told me, where are you coming from? And to be sincere, I was coming from work. That day, my boss told me to take her to the supermarket to get some stuff. And then I'll go later home. And she told me, I'm not coming from work. I told her, I can give you my boss number, you call her and ask her. She told me that is not true. Just told me, just wherever you're coming from, just go back. Now, I don't even have so many people because most of the time, I'm always in the house. You know what I did? I came back to town and I went to National Archives and I sat down there. That was the only thing I could do because I used to see people sitting there. I would just go and sit there until morning. And then it got to, now by the time she told me, I begged her, you're telling me to go, where will I go? She just banged the door and locked. They didn't have a way out. By then, it's almost now getting to 1 year. And when I talked to her, I tried calling her to open the door. She just hung up the calls and I just decided to go back. I got into a matatu, went to archives. And it got to, at the time I'm just checking, it's almost 11. It's almost 10 p.m. Now, in that place, when it's too late, people are not even there. People are just leaving. There's no one. There are no people in town. Even if they are there, but see wengi. So I decided to go to Accra Road, whereby there are these nuclears from, I don't know, they go to Meru or something. Yeah. And I was just reiterating around there. And one driver asked me, what are you doing? Because I was just so naive and very innocent. And he told me most of the time the ladies who are there, they're just those prostitutes. Yeah. And he asked me if the policemen or they can just see you, they're going to arrest you because they don't like. And I told them, no, me, I don't have. I just told him, my aunt has threw me out of the house, so I don't know where to go. And he told me, I'm leaving this matatu here. I'll just open the door, you sleep here. I'll come tomorrow very early in the morning at 5 a.m. So just get inside. He opened the door and I went inside. But you know, I could not sleep. Of course. Because I was just nervous. I could just, at night in Nairobi, it's very risky, I can say that. People were just snatched phones, they were beaten. And I could just, though the windows were tint, so you couldn't see inside. But I couldn't believe they're not seeing me. So if something like that's happened, I'll just go down. And I'm scared, I'm just shivering. Because I'm just imagining something, they might just kick that window and just come in and maybe rape me or something happens. And I was so nervous and so scared. But I stayed there until morning, until when he came. And now the matatu was supposed to leave. It was at around 4 a.m. And he told me that just stay there for a while before people start coming in. People started booking and coming in, I had to come out. This man gave me 200 and he told me just go inside there, take some tea and then you can go. Too bad I didn't even think of asking him his contact because that was an agent sent to me. And I went, took some tea, and after it was gotten at around 6:36 up, I went back to the house. And now I'm scared. To the house? Yeah, I'm going back to Kariobangi South because I'm scared because I don't know what will happen. I've slept outside. She didn't even call me to ask where I am. She didn't even bother about anything. So what am I going to say? But still I went. And when I got there, the first thing she asked me, where are you coming from? And you're just coming to my house. So you just went and did your prostitution and you're just coming back to this house. And I'm just crying. I'm just telling her, please, the only thing I want is just few dresses. If you don't want me to stay here, I'll just leave. And I just entered inside. And I picked everything that was mine and I left. And now I'm leaving. Do you know where I'm going? I just walked out and I'm just walking on the street. I'm stranded. I only used to know one girl, but we weren't even that close. But she was my only hope and I called her. And unfortunately, she was only staying in Nairobi for 2 weeks because she was going to get married in Nakuru that week. But it was a savior because she could host me during that time before I figured out what to do. And she was very kind to me because she even looked for a job I can do. Not a good one, but it was just in a certain bakery. And then I started working there for some times. And it wasn't that good. After some times I left that place. And you know, she's even leaving the house for me. But I cannot even afford to pay this house. So how do I do this? I don't even have anything. So after she left, I was left in that house. And she carried everything. She told me just, no, you can just buy your mattress and everything. You can start over. And then, because I didn't even have money for that, I just got a certain box from the bakery, the one they normally bring some unga and all that. I used to sleep in that carton for some times. So the amazing part was the end month. So the landlord was...
You don't even know people parents. You have to learn how to...
Yes. I told him, I'm going to visit someone, I'm coming. I carried my briefcase. And I just left. That was, so, and he didn't even have my number. So he was calling the other girl and he was like, no, I left the house for that girl. She is the one who is supposed to pay, so ask her the money. Where would you find me? So I went to a certain place. I called another girl I was working with. She hosted me for some times. So after some times I was staying with them, we started, the girl wasn't straightforward. She left from where we were working and started working in a club. And by then, all she wanted is just to get money, sleep with men and get money. And she told me, as long as you're living in this house, that's what we're going to do.
Oh, wow, viewer, let's take a break. That's how hard it gets. Okay, so terms and conditions, as long as you are living in this house,
you have to follow my lead.
Yeah.
And that was so scary. And I started crying. I'm just begging her. And she was like, Dorcas, but you're not doing that, get the hell out of my house. This is my house. I do what I want. And I could not take that. So I begged. I don't even know where I will go now. So I told her, if you accept, I'll work in a club, but I'll not do such things. I'll just go and work, but don't ask me to do anything. Wow. And because I didn't have an option, I had to do that. So I just went and started working as a waitress in a bar. And it was so scary. This was a job, anyway, I don't want even to go there, but it was so annoying. When we come at night, because we used to come back very late at around 3 a.m., 2 a.m., and she could come along with a guy and just sleep in the carpet or maybe in the seat. We just do their things there. And then in the morning we leave. And one day I sat down and asked her, why do you normally do these things? What if you get sick or something like that? And she just pushed me down. I almost got burnt by some water. That was when we were supposed to cook dinner that time, because we didn't go to work that evening. We were having an off day at the same time because there were other girls. And I told her, okay, I'll not even ask such a question. And she told me, just leave my house.
What was your most regrettable ordeal in working in a club?
The worst part was being asked to sleep with men.
Who was asking you?
The people that you meet there.
Okay, the men expected that.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, because they used to tell me, because even, you know, when you're working there, they're so touchy, and I was always avoiding, or just tell someone, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And then they would just abuse me. I'm acting holier than thou. What are you doing here? But at the end of the day, I am here because I know what is happening in my life.
Were you being tipped? Or were they
yes,
tipping?
yes,
Yeah.
at some point. But if someone would just tell me, I'm giving you what is 200? And then I go to their house. And then one day I just teared it down and threw it down. And then my boss saw that. And he told me, Dorcas, that is very rude. And I was told to pay 500. And I paid. The good thing I had some money. And I paid the money.
Empowered by your affliction.
Yes. And then from then, I was even fired. I was told, just get out. And I went to the house. I picked my things. And I left the street. So at least by then I had tried to make some friends. And one day, by then I went to another girl to ask her to host me. So my plan, every time, the good thing is that I didn't have anything. It was only my small bag with clothes. And then I asked her to host me. At least she was kind, she accepted. I'll just come to your place and I'm crying and I'm begging. And you just look at me, it is okay. So one day I was just walking the street of Nairobi, asking myself, where will I end this? What will happen to myself after all the scenarios I've been through? Meaning this Nairobi was not a very good for me to come. I was along Haile Selassie Avenue. I told myself, the only thing I'll do is just cross this road. This car hit me, then I'll be forgotten. I don't care whether people will bury me because they don't even know me. So I just saw this car coming. It was a very big car, but it was driven by at least a mature man, an old man. And then I just came. How he holded the brake, I don't know, because I was just next here. And I was like, the moment it didn't hit me, I was like, no way. And the old man came out and he asked me, msichana, unataka kukufa? Just did like this. Just leave me alone. And I walked out. And he asked me, can I talk to you? And I didn't want even to hear anything. People saw that, but I didn't even bother anything. I just walked. And
so that was a moment of help that was coming.
Yes.
But you were so angry.
I was so annoyed because it didn't happen. Because the only thing I wanted was to die. That was the only solution in my life by then. Because I'm depressed. There's no one even who is helping. At the end of the day, if I want something, because even when I was working in a certain club, I used to ask someone for help, and they would tell me, if you want me to help you, come to my house. To do what?
So tell me, when did you get your break? At what point did you get your own house? And
I'm getting there. Yeah. So after that, I happened to have a friend of mine. She was living in Gong by then, and she told me that there's a job in Mandera. I think it is not Western region, Eastern region.
Yeah. And
they were paying 50,000. I was so excited about it. But do you know that it was all lies? She paid for my transport. I went to Isiri. I got into a bus. The transport was 4,500. It was paid. I didn't even have pocket money. It was just my bag, and I went to Mandera. When we arrived there, I regretted 10 times. I asked myself, what brought me here? Have you ever gone to a place and you ask yourself, what are you doing here? The place is in a desert. Maybe right now things have changed. And I met her and I asked her, is this where we are going to live?
How many years ago?
That was in 2013.
Okay.
And I asked her, are we going to live here? And she told me, yes. You have not even seen it. And I went to a certain house, and I was given food and all that and all that. And the following day, I was told, we are going to take you to where you'll be working. And I was excited about this. But I was taken to a certain home, and I was locked there. And I was asked for my ID and my phone. I told them I don't have an ID, so I used to hide my ID here. And I gave my phone because they saw I had a phone.
So tell me more. When you were getting your ID, so who helped you get it?
I had to bribe.
So what's your surname?
Just Dorcas Wangari Njeri, because the foster mother her name was Njeri.
Okay.
I just used her, but I had to bribe people for me to get that ID. It wasn't easy.
Because she couldn't give you her ID.
Yeah, and I was asked about the birth certificate. It was a process, and I didn't even have a birth certificate. So
and all this time, she has never looked for you?
No.
Okay. So tell us now, you are locked in a house.
Yes, I'm locked in a certain house. So the reason I'm here now, I'm supposed to become an Al-Shabaab. You know what happens? If you can remember the story of Dusit and Westgate Mall, the way Al-Shabaab come and attack and you just die there. So I was going to be trained to become one of them. So to be going and attacking countries. That was the plan. So I'm just locked in this house, waiting for some other girls to be brought in that home for us to be taken to Somalia. And I could not even access, so that house was very big. There were so many rooms I could not even access. I was just given a certain room where I just put my clothes and a mattress would just sleep down. But it was just okay because that place is very hot. And I could inquire, what is my work? And do you know that that lady who took me there, I never saw her. She just disappeared. And I could
Was she Kenyan?
Yes. She was Kenyan. And her name was Lucy, if I can remember. And I never saw her. So I'm just living with Muslims. And I was told not to be wearing the normal way I'm dressing. I should be wearing the hijab. So I was given those hijabs. and now locked in that house. So the only thing
Are they giving you food?
Yes, but not always. So when they cook and remember that I exist, they'll give me food. And then they will ask me to wash their clothes or maybe just do some cleaning in that house.
Were they all men or there were?
There were women and some men.
Okay.
And then I could always ask, what am I supposed to do? And then they'll just lock me in that house. And I stayed there for almost a couple of months without even accessing outside the gate. It was just within the compound. And many times, maybe if I'm nearing the gate, the soldier will just tell me to go back, not to stand there. And to cut maybe the whole long story short, one day I happened to see the soldier walking out and the gate was opened. Remember, I've been here for so long, I don't even have anyone I can contact because I don't have a phone. And if I borrow a phone for me to contact anyone, they could just push me away because they don't want me to communicate to anyone because they had their own plans. I could only see people coming in, going out. Some are even, you can even be scared of them. And then I saw the gate open. My plan was now to run away. I don't care about the clothes. At least I have this hijab. They'll think maybe I'm one of them. And I don't know where the soldier was. And I managed to escape from that gate.
Wow.
I ran out and I was just running all over. I don't even know where I'm going because I was brought there. And I saw a certain person was dressing like a Christian. And I ran towards her and I hugged her. And I told her, please help me. And she was like, you are a Muslim, how can I help you? And I removed the hijab. And she saw me and she was like, please help me. And she just told me, just come, let's go. We went to a certain house and I talked to them. They were Christian. You know, in that place, they used to say that as long you are living there, that is not Kenya. You are, as long you are Christian, they can't associate with you. They used to hate Christianity so much. And she assisted me and I talked to them. I told them everything that was happening. They were just like, one person, all that. And then they assisted me. They told me that we're just going to give you some money and bring you back to Nairobi. But before then, maybe we'll just say for some time, before we get some money for you to leave. And I happened to just be walking, but I'm scared for those people to never see me. But now I removed those hijab. I never used to wear them.
They gave you some clothes.
Yeah, they gave me some clothes because remember, I've left my clothes there.
Yeah.
The only thing I had was just my ID. That's all. And that lady was very kind to me. She even bought me a phone, a small phone, at least to communicate with anyone. And one day we were just walking. I saw some girls out there. We just became friends. Because when you're there, even a policeman or anyone you see, as long as they are Christian, you become friends. Because you see them like a family. It's when you can go to a certain country, you see any Kenyan, you just become
foreigners.
Yeah, they are foreigners.
Wow.
Because this other tribe, they don't like to associate with you. And we were just saying, let's go to Somalia and see what normally happens. Remember, I'm coming from a certain situation and I still want to do something crazy. So we were just walking and we were in the border of Somalia and Kenya now. And we were 3 of us, 2 girls and myself. And I said, what if we were just walking here and we see Al-Shabaab? I didn't even finish that one. I was grabbed here by the real Al-Shabaab now. And he asked me, do you know the meaning of Al-Shabaab? And I was just trying to turn and look at him. He told me, don't even dare. Lie down. And then he stepped on my back here with his shoes. And he was just covered. I could just try to peep. I could see I can remember there were 3 men.
Well, you were not afraid?
If I die, it's okay. I've seen it all.
Okay.
I know. I was just, everyone was just lying down, but I was the one talking too much.
They were Gary the activist.
The activist, because I think I've gone through a lot.
Yeah.
I told him, if you want to kill me, it's fine. He told me, just say your last prayer. And then he asked me, do you know the meaning of Al-Shabaab? I told him, I don't know. Just kill me. You want to kill me? Just kill me. And I'm saying this very confidently. And this guy, they have those bullets like this. The only thing you can see, it's their eyes. But you can't even see them so clear. So he's telling me to lie down. I'm still peeping up.
So how far had you gone from Malindi? I mean from Mandera?
It was very far.
You walked?
We just walked. We were just walking.
For leisure?
Yes.
Okay.
You can imagine.
After the deliverance that you had
yes,
gotten.
I'm still doing these things because I want someone. I'm still thinking maybe something good will come out. And I remember hearing those guys firing up. And I thought we were dead. And I just said, it is okay. Now nimekufa. And then, unfortunately, I think there was some policemen or something. Because I think I passed out. I don't even know where the other girls went. I now was taken to the hospital. And when I woken up, the first person I saw was a policeman. And I was scared. And I told myself, now I'm being arrested. Leave alone being held hostage in that house. Now it is arrest. And then when the policeman told me to wake up. And then I just looked at him and asked him, have I done something wrong? And he told me, no. Actually, we saved you from some Al-Shabaab. And he asked me, what were you doing there? And I told him, I don't even remember anything about that. And he told me to just go back where I was coming from. And I told him, I can't even remember the way because I didn't even know where we were, but we were in Mandera Hospital. And I think I passed out because of the fear and shock. And I was taken back to that lady. And when she saw me, she asked me, are you even serious with your life? Why do you have to do that? But the good thing, she never scolded me or did anything. And the following day, I remember, I think after 1 week, she gave me money now to come back to Nairobi. But in between that time, I happened to be friends with those policemen. They told me that you can just be our friends in case of anything, come and talk to us. So I used to go to their canteen because they used to have some meat, some nice food there. At least they were being brought from Nairobi. So we could just go and eat there. And when we were there was a bomb that was put down there where I was seated. If you can remember the famous attack in Mandera, I was part of it. And I was just down there seated like that. And something told me, we were just talking and eating. And I told them, I want to leave and then I'll come tomorrow. Because we just used to go there and eat. It was fun. And then they had started accepting me. So to me, that was something very
And you felt safe with them?
And I felt safe. Yeah. I was even free to them than even the lady I was with in that place. So when we were sitting there, I don't know, but I just told them, let me just go. I will come tomorrow. And I can say I walked few meters, maybe from where we were seated. And there were people seated there. And I just walked. And I just heard that bursting. All I could see was just fire. And I was like, what? Then I couldn't even do anything, just fallen down. And I remember one of the policemen came and dragged me. So we were just crawling. Few minutes later, there were Al-Shabaab. Now there was the gunshot. They were just shooting all over. And now, because I was trained while we were there, anytime you hear the gunshot, just lie down. So I could not, because my nerves were weak, so I was just crawling down on the sads. Just crawling down, I couldn't move, I'm scared. Some policemen are just coming and jumping all over me because I could see the gunshot, the way they were. And it was during the day, actually. It was, I think, around at 5 p.m. or something. And the scenario was very tough, and one of the policemen saved me, and he took me inside. And after a couple of hours, we couldn't even go anywhere. So people died. And do you know that policeman who was my friend died there? Because we were seated with them. And I couldn't even believe. And that's when I realized I need to get out of this place. And after a couple of hours, we were evicted to now where we were staying. But it was very scary. Because I could remember back then, at 2 p.m., you're supposed to be in the house. You're not supposed to be walking or loitering around because it was never safe. Remember, it was even some guys were flown out by then by the government because it was so many people died, but I didn't. After being evicted, the following day I was given money and I came back to Nairobi. Remember, I'm still coming back to Nairobi. I don't have a place to stay. And I was just having several friends because I had joined church by then. I used to go to Deliverance Church, but I was not even committed to. I would just go today. After 1 month, I still remember, there was this church. And when I came back, another lady received me. She was from that church. And all I wanted was just peace and just remember what was happening all that time. And I talked to her and I told her, please don't throw me out of your house. I don't have money. I don't even have anything. Just let me stay here. Even if it is 1 month, maybe God will do something. And they used to normally have a band. They used to sing.
Yeah.
So she could tag me along, we go. But me, I was not even singing or doing anything. Mm. And one day we went to one of the pastors. And he told the director, I need to talk to this girl. Because I would just go there and I'm just seated. I'm not even saying anything. I'm just there. But as a pastor, you could feel something was not all right with her. And when the director told me that, but I was not even part of them. I was just accompanying this girl. And I told the director, don't even tell me about anything to do with pastors or anyone who will just want to talk to me. Those people are not even straightforward. They just want to use me. I don't want to talk to anyone. Because I didn't even trust anyone, because I knew all they wanted is just to do something bad to me. And they kept on insisting. And one day, the wife was the one who tried. The guy gave the number to the wife, and she called me one day. And she told me, please, just come to a certain place. I want to talk to you. But I didn't trust her, but I was very scared of her. But I told myself, let me just risk. If I risk to go to that place, even her, if she wants to do something, she'll just kill me, it is okay. And I went and I met her and we talked. And she took me to her. I went inside her car and we went to their house. And I got their husband and her. Once we got into that house, I was scared. Now I knew I'm not going to leave this house alive because I didn't even trust them anymore. And she could see how scared I was, tensed I was. And she told me, just relax. We're not doing anything. We just want to talk to you. That's all. And I was very depressed by then. I don't even want to listen to anyone. And she talked to me and she told me, tell us more about yourself. And I started crying and I just told everything. The pastor was like, at your age. And then he was like, it is okay. We'll do something about it. And he told me, do you have a place to stay? I told them, I'm not only being hosted by another girl, I'm okay. They told me, no, just stay with, because we have a big house, we're just going to give you that room, stay there. Go and get your clothes, come and stay here with us. And I asked him, are you even sure of what you're telling me? You'll not kill me. Because of what I've gone through, that was the only thing I could see. And they told me, we just want to help you in some ways. And they were very kind. The wife right now, she's late. Oh. And I can tell you, that was the first ever family took me in as their own kid. I could not even believe that a family, or like unbeloved as a girl. That was very strange. Many times they could even serve me food.
Ashamed of being a girl.
Yes. At some point they could even, you see the house help, come and serve me food. Just stare at her and ask her, are you sure this food is mine, or is it food, real food? And I tell her, please taste first. Because I don't believe. Maybe there's poison in that food. I couldn't even accept whatever was happening. And they just served me. They could just come and do anything for me. And I'm like, this is not real. The wife could just tag me along to those executive events. I'm like, no. This is not normal.
It was not normal
it was
for
not,
you to be shown.
Yes, love. Yes. Because they just accepted me. That family accepted me in a way that I don't even know what to say. And that was like a dream come true. And you know, all this time, the husband was just used to have some organization in Canada. They used to have some homes in Kisumu and all that. That pastor gathered my story and talked about it and sent it to someone in Canada. And those people were coming to Kenya by then. That's why they wanted me to stay with them. After some times, they were having a church. They told me, please, let's go to our office. There's something we want to tell you. And then we went. The church was by then was in Utawala. By then they were living in Buruburu. And we went there. Still, I'm not content. But at least I'm trying to adapt ritual. And then we went to their office, and they had already came, so they were just coming from the airport. And after some times, they just told me to serve them some tea, and I was just sitting in the office. And then this Canadian just walks in. Hi, Dorcas. And I'm like, now I'm gone.
Yeah, now they've sold me
now
again.
They have sold me again. And I was like, how do you know my name? And he just told me, I know everything about you, but don't worry. And he hugged me. That was something very strange. So the person is just hugging me, my hands are like this. Yeah. Because I'm shivering. And he told me, don't be scared. There was him and another lady. There were 3 of them. And then I asked him, how do you mean I shouldn't worry? And then the wife told me, there's a turning point very soon for you. And I'm like, I don't understand anything.
Yeah, 2 turning points are dramatic.
I don't even understand anything because no one has ever told me anything good. Apart from you, at least you've been giving me food. And I told them in front of their guests, maybe you are just hosting me for a few days and then you throw me out very soon. And then the pastor was like, no, we're not going to do something like that. Because I don't trust anyone. And then they talked, we sat down, we had a meeting, and they talked to me and they told me, what do you want to do? How can we help you? And they told me, please look for a house, we're going to pay the house for you, and we take you to school. And I could not even accept. I'm still trying to understand what is happening. And I told them, it's still melting in my mind, so I don't understand anything. They told me, we are going to Kisumu. Once we come back, everything will be settled. I never even bothered to look for a house. Why? Because I don't...
You knew they were lying.
They were lying to me. That was not true. And then the wife talked to me. She told me, please, just do whatever they are asking you to do. And we want you to get a house in Utawala because our church is here. You can always be coming to church. I went back to their home. And the wife just brought me back to Utawala. She told me, we're going to look for a house. And I asked her, so if we look for a house, who will be paying that house? Because not me.
Because you have an experience.
And I then,
know where you're coming from.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she told me, don't worry about it. So these people from Canada, they came back to Nairobi. And they paid for a house for me for 6 months. They bought whatever I needed. Mine was just to go and stay there. And because I was even scared, they even looked for a house for me. And I was just given the key and I was taken there. This is your house. I just fallen down there in that staircase. And people were like, why is she even dramatic? But to me, that was a turning point. This is whereby I'll just be opening this door. That is my house. This is where I'll be staying. There's no one to ask me anything. No one will come and tell me to leave. And I really cried. And they told me, please choose a course you want to do and it will be paid. I had always wanted to do things with beauty, fashion and all that. And I chose the beauty school. That was Beauty Point College. And it was paid from first term to the last. Mine was just to drag myself to school. If I don't, it is a lose. But no single day I ever wanted to lose. So I can say I got a scholarship from them. And they assisted me to my last minute until I could be able to stand on my own. They were always there until I finished school. And I was among the first class students because that was so passionate. At some point, people go home, all of them, everyone from my class would just be sent home. I'd always be in class. Until I'm like, mbona mimi sifukuzangu shule?
I know. And you always used to be the first one.
Yes. And then I was like, I was just used to work so hard and learn a lot. And I can remember I was very disciplined. Even if you go to that school, they'll tell you that girl was very disciplined because I knew what I had gotten. And they sponsored me until the last minute, until I could be on my own. Until now, the wife of now my pastor passed on.
Oh.
That was, I don't know whether, I don't think I've ever healed about that, because she took me like a mother. Wow. She was there in so many ways. She could tell me, if you want to talk to me, just come and talk to me. If you want something, just come to me. And she passed in 2019. I think it was January.
She was unwell? She was unwell?
No, she had a heart attack and she passed on. Oh. And it was something very emotional and very hurting to me, because I had taken them like a family. They were the only people that I knew that they were my family. They could be there for me in any way. And when I was in school, a lot was happening. I could get so many things. And then still remember, there are these people in my home. They don't know anything. They don't call. They have never even bothered to inquire, where did this girl went, or what really happened.
That was in a span of, when did you leave home?
2006, 2007.
So, and this is 2019. They don't even know where you are.
They never bothered any. They only heard that I went to Nairobi, but they don't know anything. Even if today I give you my phone, you'll not see anyone from that place. Maybe they only see I've posted on Facebook or something, and then they will just say, I think we saw her somewhere. But they never inquired anything about me. And I think in the middle of 2019, it's when I started accepting everything. And when I started healing, in between 2018 and 2019, it's when I started healing from all those dramas. And I dragged myself to that home. I did a very good shopping for them. And I went, I gave them, and I returned back. I didn't even say much, just told them. I only came to say hi, that's all. They just looked at me. They were not even recognizing me, because they can't even remember me. I left there when I was just tiny and all that. And at the end of the day, even receiving me it's just a by the way. Then I left. That's when
even that mama did not like recognize.
She was not even. She was like, huh, it is you. And then I'm like, yes, because now she's very old. And at some point I felt like, I've just come to tell you, whatever happened, it's all in the past. Let's just focus and move on, because it hurts. It's so annoying, but what can I do? Because many times I could just go on Google, look for my parents, search my name and see if I can accept, but I've never done that. And it was so hard for me to accept that.
And it never occurred to you that you should have asked them?
I did so many times. Okay. But anytime I could ask, they just call me or they just receive a beating. So
but now that you're an adult, I think that is information that they should give you. It's not something to beg about.
True.
Because they owe you that. And I think even lawfully, you have that right to know where you came from. And it's important you find out. Not necessarily because you're confrontational, but I think it's something that you can ask. Because they should tell you. Because that's a part of your life that you need to know. And if they have that knowledge, they should disclose it to you, because it's your right. Wow. Maybe you can look into that. Yeah,
I'll work out on that.
Yeah, it's important. The government has all the, you can use all the chief, you can use you should know where you came from. It's important. You can use the legal way or you can use the friendly way. But since maybe they may not be willing to disclose, then you can further that. Because they should let you know.
True.
It's your right.
Yeah, because if the parents died, I should be shown where they were buried.
At least to know where where your identity is, and not because you want to pursue any legal or you sue them or anything, but just to know. I think it's because they are alive. It's a right you have to know.
True.
Yeah, so that you can also have closure and know where you came from, so that you don't go to Google. I believe in our part of the world, we are still growing technologically.
Yes, sure.
But maybe in other advanced economies, like you can trace your DNA. So it's important to do that. But now, currently, so at that time, how are you relating with the Canadian and how are you relating with the pastor in Utawala?
Unfortunately, they are no longer there. They're not even in that church. They left. when the wife died after some points, he could not continue.
Yeah.
But I understand. Even the Canadian, the organization is still there because they normally have a children's home in Kisumu.
Yeah.
We normally go to support and sponsor them there. The Canadian is still there, but I can say at least for now they're not that much. But at least even if there's something that I need, I can always talk to them. So we're still in contact with them. We're still talking. And I'm so grateful to them for that because they changed my life.
Yes.
Because that was, whenever they came in, it was a turning point. And I'm always so grateful to God because when that pastor came in, it's when my life changed.
Wow.
And I remember even I had now to believe in be born again in real. You know, at some point you just get born again and then you say, I don't want to go to church because at the end of the day, how is it even helping me? Because at the end of the day, you are just thinking a lot of things that are happening to you. You have gone through so many things that you feel like you want to give up. Because many a times I had to give up on my life. Many a times I felt like, why would I have to live?
I know.
Why would I have to continue like this? Because there's no one cares about me.
Yeah.
I can say. Even I can say that at some point I could get a job.
Yeah.
At a certain place I went, I worked for one day. The following day, the owner told me, do not come back tomorrow.
Wow. So any relationship plans, any dating, anything you have inside it? Because right now I think we can see a bit of light.
I never saw that coming.
Don't worry.
Well, at the moment, not really.
Not really.
But I know I'm heading there.
I know.
Because I think I'm that person who has been, I've tried dating and they fail. Mostly I'm very emotional. So when you do something small to me will hurt me.
Yeah.
I start recapturing whatever has happened to me. So I feel at some point I just feel like I just want to be pampered and all that, you know. Because I've come to a very humbling background. So at some point, even someone maybe to understand me, to just accept me the way I am, not so many, because they're like...
There are people who will accept you. And maybe what you need to do is just go through the journey of therapy. It's important.
Yeah.
So that you're able to unwind and be able to take off that baggage.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't choose it, but you can overcome it. And actually, in actual sense, you've been seated here. It's a sign of how strong you are.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I had always wished to meet you one day.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, I'll tell you after we're done.
Thank you. Wow. Our viewers, that's the story of Dorcas Wangari. And as you can see, she's wearing a crown. And she's wearing a smile finally. Because no matter what you're facing, there is a God in heaven. And keep her in prayer as we see how we can help to make sure that she understands her roots where possible. From us in the City and family, God bless you.